rather watch the original Snow White movie on the theaters right now with my niece and then with my friends' kids. I think that would make it so much more memorable. I would say. Like sometimes it's just unnecessary to remake all of those fairy tales and put a human face to it.
Yeah,
that's so interesting. Like Tim and I, we were talking about the Beauty and the Beast movie.
That's like
with
the
Emma
first
Watson.
one. That was the first one that started it off essentially.
And I understand, they want to capitalize on the nostalgia of the people who grew up watching the animations. And for Beauty and the Beast, they didn't change the story at all. So they just replaced the characters with real people, and it still succeeded. I really don't understand why they decided to change the format. Oh, now we have to recast a different person. Now we have to change the story a little bit.
I think that was the first test though, right? And that found some success. And then it's like easy for them to be like, hey, let's just keep doing this. Because obviously now where we're at, like what haven't they done now?
Yeah,
like I think they've nearly done everyone, right? That's what I mean.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, the success of Beauty and the Beast would directly go to how authentic it was to the real films and the perfect casting. Everyone was very happy with the casting. Everyone was happy with, with how original, like it just did not steer away from, didn't give us a lot of plot twist or anything like that. It was just raw Disney movie, but in a human form, in a really good musical. They haven't changed the songs. It's all the same. So I think people did like Beauty and the Beast because of that, because it was authentically just a remake of it.
Correct.
But right now, what we're seeing is there's a lot of discourse happening around DEI, like diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I feel like Hollywood is really missing the mark with that.
Yeah.
I feel like we want diversity in roles. We want people to be actually casted the way the films were before. Like, the characters kind of need to represent who the characters were before, I think. And I feel like that effort, from what I saw on the internet, is like, this is not how diversity and inclusion should work in Hollywood. We just don't want anyone to just do the role. It has to be according to the, just original screenplay and how the characters were meant to be. I feel like it's just a very big, people find it very, it's just, they just don't want that, I guess, because it's not authentic. Authentically, they're not doing it just to make sure that people get representation. They're just doing it for clout or for, to spark discussion is what I heard.
Which is
here.
even weird, not that, because it hasn't really ever panned out like with these films either. But like I said before, I don't even think that's like the thing that lets down the film to begin with. But like I haven't watched any of these films just because I was like, I did grow up on those Disney films, and like I said, like The Lion King and stuff, but I had no reason to go watch them. Like it feels like, if I wanted to, I'd just watch the original. Like it feels a bit of a waste. Like they get that instant, like people go to watch it, and then it's like, we don't really care about this anymore.
Yeah.
That's true.
But it's a bit sad because I think it does take away from those original films as well, where people are like, was the original film as good as I remember now?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, right? Because like for me, if I watch a very bad remake, actually, it makes me appreciate the original even more. So I always go back and watch the cartoons, and then like this has something magical about them. It creates a childhood. And I want to echo on Jimmy's point as well. If you want to cast people from the diversity background, why don't you just cast them in their stories? Why do you have to put them into someone else's story and make them try to represent their group in a different story?
But the other thing with that is, like, do those groups get a chance to be in films to begin with anyway?
Yeah.
Like, that's the hard thing now to say, like, say you're casting an Asian actor. Like, what's the chance there's going to be a film for them in Hollywood at all that's based from, like, an Asian background?
Yeah.
It's very rare. Like, I know recently there's been, like, a bit more of a burst of that. But even that's, like, hard for anyone to get anyway. So it's a bit hard to even say that, to be like... this was a white guy, it should have been a white guy, when it's like, well, there's plenty of white guy films, aren't there?
That is true.
Like, I don't think it's, like, from that angle, it's a bit tough. Like, I don't mind, like, diversity hires, but...
Of course, yeah.
I think, like you said, if they're putting it out there, like, oh, look who we've got or whatever, like... But even, like, with these films, most of them are, like, unknown. Like, even though... who's the evil queen in this? What's her name?
Gal Gadot. Yeah.
Even her, she's like the worst actress going around. And she gets this role more for her name than her acting ability. which is that makes me more sad than anyone else in this film because I'm like, oh, any less reason to watch this film. Like, you got Gal Gadot. Like, that's going to really make me go watch this film.
That's true.
So, by replacing the dwarves with CGI, it balloons the budget.
Yeah,
and it's just not affecting the movie quality, but it ballooned the budget to nearly $270 million.
Oh my goodness.
And
that's a lot.
And that hasn't included any marketing or distribution.
Yeah, I know.
So
crazy.
To make the money back, it would need to make at least $500 million just to break even. And then to make any profits, you need to double that. So $1 billion for a Snow White Disney remake?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
but see, you can see the contradiction here as well. They're casting. They really want to cast diverse characters from diverse backgrounds. But why couldn't they just hire some
dwarves,
hire dwarf actors who are actually upcoming and they're actually getting what do you say, momentum right now with like Peter Dinklage and all of those like other actors that are coming
was saying
up.
before, he kind of talked against that as well. Like he and it's weird when coming from him as well, but because he's like the main guy and he gets his own films as well. And it's like he doesn't want other people to get this job, and it's like it's sad.
There's a lot of contradictions, and I think that's why the viewers are confused as well. Because I think everyone would love to see different representations of themselves, their ethnicity and where they come from being represented in different films. But the thing is, there's just always this contradiction of sometimes why it's necessary, and then the way that Hollywood does it as well. So I think people really don't like that aspect of it.
And I think we talk about Snow White long enough.
That's enough.
I think now we need to talk about the movies that people actually want to watch. That is the end of the episode. Let us know what you think about the conversation in the comment section below and smash that like button.
Ring the bell and subscribe as well. And you better be back next time.
And we will see you in the next episode.